Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel. I am Bethany Shanae, and in today's video I'm showing you how I process the bulk meats from my Saving September bulk grocery haul. If you haven't seen that video already, please check it out after you see this one and see how I saved so much money by shopping one time for the month of September. Here I'm processing my ground beef and my pork loin. I planned all my meals for the month of September, and I bought based on the sales that I saw on my Flip app for grocery stores near me. So I got 10 3/4 pounds of ground beef, 80/20, and a little over 7 pounds of pork loin. I like to break it down into portions based on how much I will meal prep at a time for each recipe. So 4 bags, one will be for Philly cheesesteak stuffed peppers for 1 week's lunches. Another bag will be for burger patties for a week's dinners. And then another bag will be for what I call a beefy kale skillet, which is just ground beef cooked down with whatever vegetables I have floating around, plus a bag of greens for a week's dinners. And then I also had an extra 2.6 pounds of ground beef that I will have on hand because I do not meal plan for the weekend. So it will get used, and best case scenario, I won't need it this month and it'll get carried over into October and save me for October as well. Here I'm processing my almost 8 pounds of pork loin. I got this at Sam's Club. If you want to know the prices I paid per pound for both of these meats, again, after this video, please check out that Saving September bulk grocery haul. Here, on the wider end of the loin, obviously I'm trimming off all the fat and silver skin. You'll see me save that later. On the wider end of the loin, I cut it into 2.5-inch chops, and I did it that thick because they will be stuffed with my jalapeno popper stuffing for my jalapeno popper blackened pork chops. Check that meal prep video out later this month. And then here on the thinner end, I'm going to turn this into what I call pork verde. I just slow cook it in some salsa verde and I season it up. I did cut it into thin chops just in case, and that's me saving the fat. Save the fat, you can render it down later. But back to the pork loin, I did cut it into thinner chops. Just in case I don't want pork verde, I can still utilize this as pork chops. I can pan sear it, I can bake it. You know, I cut it in a way that's still versatile. And I'm just sucking the air out. I really don't like doing it with raw meat, but that bag really needed it. The goal with processing your meats is you get it in bulk to save money, and then you portion it out in your freezer as if you had bought smaller packages. So I'm always want to make sure that if I make my gallon Ziplocs as flat as possible, you'll get a lot more in your freezer, and I squeeze the air out. You'll see me in a second. I'll reweigh some of these bags just to make sure that I'm labeling them with the right weight, because the weights are slightly different. I have a 3-pound bag of ground beef for my stuffed peppers because I'll be making 6 servings. And then I have 2.6 bags, and I'm sorry, 2.10 bags, and then a 2.6. And on the pork, I'm writing the weights as well as what the recipes are. All right, y'all. So I finished prepping the meat that I'm gonna prep. The pork roast that I had and the earlier grocery haul video, those are already in smaller chunks. I'll probably just put 2 of them in the crock pot. I don't need to prep those in any way. The chicken leg quarters, I'll probably be cooking 10 pounds at a time, 5 for 2 different recipes. That math is off somewhere, but it was already frozen as well, so it'd be too difficult for me to defrost them, and it kind of defeat the purpose. The ground beef was a little bit still frozen, even though it's been in my fridge for 3 days. But I did break it up. I have 3 recipes I need it for, and then I have an extra 2.6 pounds. And then the pork loin I cut into thinner chops in case I wanted to make chops out of them and change my meal plan. Otherwise, I will slow cook these in some salsa verde. And then these are thicker, about 2.5-inch loin chops, which I will pound out and stuff with jalapeno popper stuffing. So be sure you definitely come back for that recipe because it's very good. But yeah, I'll be making burgers, stuffed peppers. Stuffed peppers will be out of the 3-pound batch. I have 6 peppers, so I still will be making a 6th recipe. And then I have 2.10 pound bags of ground beef. One will be for burger patties this week actually, and the other will be for like a skillet. So I'll have greens, tomato, etc., stuff like that. But yeah, y'all, this is everything I have prepped to go with in my freezer until the rest of September when I need to pull it out and defrost it. And I did use just a whiteboard marker. It's all I have. I don't have a Sharpie. Probably can't see it because the light's behind me. I'm too lazy today to deal with lighting. But yeah, thanks to you guys for coming back to see today's video. I know it was a quick one. I hope I didn't ramble too much on the voiceover. And yeah, make sure you come back later this week for the meal prep video to see how I made this week's meal preps, and each week for the rest of September to see how I meal prepped each of those weeks as well. Again, I am Bethany Shanae. Thank you so much for coming back to see today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!